You are 38 years old, and you are sitting in a meeting that did not need to be a meeting. You know this. The 11 other people in the room know this. The person running the meeting almost certainly knows this, but the meeting is happening anyway. At 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, in a conference room with a name like Innovation Hub or Synergy Suite, and someone is pulling up a slide deck about Q3 alignment that could have been a 2-paragraph email, and you are nodding at the appropriate moments and thinking about something else entirely. You are thinking about the fact that you have been in this building, or one very much like it, for 13 years. 13 years. You came in at 25 with a laptop bag and a title that said associate, and an energy that was not quite ambition, but was close to it. A readiness, a willingness, the specific electricity of someone who believes the next thing is around the corner. The corner came. The next thing came. You got the promotion. You got the office. You got the title that used to feel like a destination and now just feels like a label on the door. And somewhere between the first year and this Tuesday at 2 p.m., something happened that you cannot fully name. You didn't burn out. You didn't fail. You didn't get fired or demoted or passed over in any way that the outside world would recognize as a problem. You just became someone who attends meetings that did not need to be meetings and stopped noticing that you were doing it. Here's what nobody tells you about the 9 to 5. It is not a job. It is a system. And the system has levels. And each level has its own psychology, its own traps, its own very specific version of a life that feels like progress from the inside, until you stop and look at the direction you're actually moving. This is what every level looks like, from the inside. By the end of this video, you will understand the 6 levels of the 9 to 5, not as job titles or salary brackets, but as states of mind. The way each level feels from inside it. The invisible forces that keep people locked in place. And the specific moment, the one most people never reach, where the job stops being the answer and starts being the question. Most career content tells you how to move up. This tells you where you actually are, and what it costs to stay there one more year without deciding. Here's the thing nobody says out loud in any office building in the world. Most people did not choose this job. They arrived at it. They took the first offer that came after graduation because rent was due. They stayed because the next thing didn't materialize on the timeline they expected. They got good at it because being good at things is what competent people do. They got promoted because promotion is what happens to people who get good at things and stay long enough. And at some point, maybe 5 years in, maybe 12, they looked up and realized that a career they never consciously designed had been built around them, brick by brick, while they were busy being responsible. The trap is not the job. The trap is the salary. Not because the salary is bad, because the salary is good enough. Good enough to make leaving feel irrational. Good enough to make the Sunday dread feel manageable by Monday morning. Good enough to fund a lifestyle that now depends on it. The mortgage, the car, the school tuition. The life that has quietly sized itself to fit exactly what the job pays. The golden handcuffs are not forced on you. You fasten them yourself. One responsible decision at a time. This video is about what happens at every level of that system, and what it takes to see it clearly enough to do something about it. There is a concept in organizational psychology called escalation of commitment. It means that the more time, energy, and identity a person has invested in something, the harder it becomes to walk away, even when the rational case for walking away is obvious. It is why people stay in jobs they outgrew 3 years ago. It is why they accept the title without the raise, because they have already built a relationship with the team, and starting over somewhere new feels like losing the progress. It is why the sunk cost of 13 years in one building can feel like a reason to stay, instead of a reason to ask why. The job is not holding you. Your accounting of the job is holding you. The story you tell about what leaving would cost, the stability, the relationships, the trajectory, is the structure you are actually living inside. And the story is almost never accurate, because the story was built at a level that made sense when it was built. And most people never revise it. This is not a lecture. This is a map. Level 1, the hopeful. Age range 22 to 28. Salary, entry level. You are new. And being new is its own kind of freedom. A narrow freedom. A freedom built entirely on the permission to not know things yet. You don't know the org chart politics. You don't know which meetings are performances and which ones matter. You don't know that the project you've been assigned to is widely understood to be going nowhere. You don't know any of this, which means none of it is weighing on you yet. Jordan is here at 23, first real job, $42,000 a year, and a title that begins with junior, and an onboarding packet that is longer than any document they have ever read in their life. They arrive early every day for the first 3 months. Not because anyone asked them to, because being early feels like the right way to be when you are new at something and want to prove you belong. The energy at level 1 is real. It is not naivety. It is the legitimate electricity of potential that has not yet been tested against reality. The trap at level 1 is not cynicism. Cynicism comes later. The trap at level 1 is the assumption that being good at the job is the whole game. It is not the whole game. Being good at the job gets you noticed. Being good at the job gets you assigned to more work. Being good at the job gets you a modest raise and the informal title of reliable. And reliable is the beginning of a very comfortable cage. Level 2. The climber. Age range 26 to 35. Salary mid-range. You figured out that the game has rules. Not the rules in the employee handbook. The actual rules. The ones that determine who gets promoted, whose ideas get credit, who sits closest to the decision makers, and who gets CC'd on emails instead of addressed in them. Elena is here at 29. She has been promoted twice. She has learned to speak in the language of leadership. Strategic, concise, solutions-oriented. She brings ideas to her manager before the manager asks for them. She is building her personal brand inside the organization, which is not a cynical thing to do. It is the thing the game rewards. The climber is engaged, ambitious, and performing at a high level. What the climber does not yet see is that the ladder they are climbing is leaning against a specific wall. And the wall is the organization's agenda, not theirs. The trap at level 2 is mistaking organizational progress for personal progress. The title going up is real. The salary going up is real. But the question, the one that will become more urgent with every promotion, is whether the thing being built is a career you designed or a career that was designed for you by the organization's need to retain talented people at the lowest possible cost. Level 3. The settled. Age range 30 to 45. Salary comfortable. You stopped climbing. Not because you failed, because you arrived. Not at the top, at comfort. There is a specific place in every corporate hierarchy where the compensation is genuinely good, the expectations are known and manageable, the relationships are established, and the daily reality, though not exciting, is not bad. Not bad is a powerful force. Not bad is where careers go to stop. Jordan is here at 34. Senior title, decent salary, a team of 3 who report to them. The work is familiar, not too difficult, not too easy. The Sunday dread is real, but it resolves by Monday morning, which Jordan has come to interpret as evidence that it isn't serious. The settled person is the invisible majority of every office building. They are competent, they are present, they are going through motions that are so well practiced, they no longer feel like motions. The trap at level 3 is the anesthesia of comfort. You cannot feel the problem because the problem is not pain. The problem is the absence of something. Direction, growth, the sense that the next year will be meaningfully different from the last. The absence of a thing does not trigger the same alarm that the presence of something bad does. And so people stay at level 3 for 5 years, then 8 years, then 12, and the years accumulate and the resume stays the same, and the question they stopped asking, what am I actually building here, collects dust in a corner of the mind where inconvenient questions go. Level 4, the trapped. Age range 35 to 50, salary, golden handcuffs. You want to leave, you know you want to leave, and you have a very detailed and completely rational explanation for why you cannot. The mortgage requires this salary. The children are in school here. The health insurance is through this employer, and changing it would require a gap in coverage, and the timing is wrong. You have 3 years until the next vesting date on the equity package. The economy is uncertain. The market is weird right now. It would be different if something specific changed. Something specific does not change. Elena is here at 41, vice president. The kind of title that sounds impressive at dinner parties and feels hollow by Thursday afternoon. She earns significantly more than she imagined she would at this age. She is also more constrained than she imagined she would be. The salary that felt like freedom at 29 is now the architecture of the trap. The lifestyle has grown to meet it. The obligations have grown to depend on it. And the cost of walking away has compounded every year she stayed. The golden handcuffs are not forced on you. They are the natural consequence of a salary that grows faster than the courage to walk away from it. The trap at level 4 is the rationalization calendar. There is always a reason why right now is not the right time. The reasons are always specific, always logical, always temporary. The calendar keeps turning. The reasons keep refreshing. Level 5, the hollowed age range, 40 to 55. Salary high. The money is good. Everything else is gone. Not dramatically gone, quietly gone. The way a battery drains, not in a single discharge, but in small, invisible depletions over time. Until one morning, you pick it up and it is dead, and you did not notice the decline, because each individual day felt like the day before it. Jordan is here at 47. Senior leadership. The job that 23-year-old Jordan would have looked at from the outside and called success. The job that 47-year-old Jordan performs with the specific precision of someone who has done this exact thing for so long that the performance no longer requires presence. The body is in the building. The rest of the person is somewhere else, in a thought they don't finish, a plan they don't make, a life they keep deferring until the conditions are better. The conditions are never better. That is the thing the hollowed person knows and cannot say out loud without consequences. At level 5, the trap is competence without aliveness. You are too good at this job to be fired, too good at it to be challenged, too good at it to need to be present in any meaningful way. The job runs on muscle memory, and muscle memory is the death of growth. It is the sensation of motion without direction, speed without destination, the most sophisticated version of standing still. Level 6, the door opener. Age range, any. This level has no age range, because the people who reach it at 27 and at 52 and everywhere in between. What they have in common is a single moment. A moment that is quiet, private, unannounced, and permanent. It is the moment they stop asking whether the job is good enough and start asking whether they are good enough for what they actually want. The moment the question changes from "how do I do this job better" to "is this the right job to be doing?" And they let the question be real, instead of filing it under things to think about later. Elena opened the door at 44. Not because something dramatic happened, because she did one calculation she had been avoiding. She asked what her life looked like at 60, if the next 16 years looked like the last 16. She held the answer in her mind for a full week. She did not like the answer. The door is not a job change necessarily. It is not always quitting. Sometimes it is renegotiating the terms. Sometimes it is a conversation that changes the relationship. Sometimes it is building the thing on the side until the side becomes the main thing. Sometimes it is leaving. What it always is a decision, not a drift, not a circumstance. A decision made at a specific moment, in a specific room, by a specific person who finally let the uncomfortable question be more important than the comfortable answer. The trap at level 6 is the only trap that matters, waiting for the door to open by itself. It does not open by itself. It has a handle, and the handle is on your side. Here is what I want you to hold. The 9 to 5 is not the enemy. The 9 to 5 is a tool. Like any tool, its value depends entirely on whether you are using it or it is using you. The people who move through these levels consciously, who stay at level 2 because they are building something specific, who reach level 4 and choose it with open eyes rather than drift into it, those people are not trapped. They are operating inside a system they understand. The people who are trapped are not weak. They are simply inside a system that was designed to feel like progress while standing still. The promotions feel like movement. The salary increases feel like winning. The familiarity feels like belonging. None of these things are false, and none of them are the same as direction. Direction is something you choose, repeatedly, consciously, in the face of a system that is very good at making the absence of direction feel like stability. You are allowed to want more than a job that is not bad. You are allowed to ask whether the building you are in is the right building. You are allowed to let the question be real. The handle is on your side. There is a version of you at 55. In one version, you are still in the building. The building is nicer. The title is bigger. The salary is higher. The meeting at 2 p.m. on Tuesday is now a meeting you run, not attend. But the meeting still did not need to happen. And the something else is the same thought you had at 38 and did not finish. In the other version, you finished the thought. Not dramatically, not in a single moment of cinematic clarity. You finished it in a Tuesday at 6 a.m. before anyone was awake, in a notebook alone, when the question was finally allowed to be louder than the reasons to stay quiet. And what came next was not easy, but it was chosen. And chosen is the only kind of life that does not require forgetting who you were before the building. Two versions of the same person. Same starting salary, same talent, same building. One of them decided what the building was for. One of them let the building decide. The handle is on your side.